Nah. All right, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. It is August the 24th, 2021. Day 241 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, another 3-year consecutive day count. Day 910, 910. Today, y'all, we're reading Daniel. Oh, I'm not putting that up there. Today, we're reading Daniel 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to pick up in Fossilized Customs. We'll left off that on Sunday on page 355. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and do the Shema. All right. Okay, y'all. The Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting in verse 3. Remember, go and read the whole full chapter. Make sure you get the full gist of everything, but I kind of got everything in there already. But it's some more stuff that is not said that it's covered by what I do say, but just to get the full reading, go read the whole chapter. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the mighty one of our fathers, has promised us in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your mighty one, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. Shalom, fam. Hey, auntie. All right, y'all. So let's hop on over here to... Daniel chapter 2. If it opens up. Okay. Daniel. Okay. All right. Nebuchadnezzar's dream. One night, during the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had such disturbing dreams that he couldn't sleep. Shalom, Mom. He called in his magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers, and he demanded that they tell him what he dreamed. As they stood before the king, he said, I have had a dream that deeply troubles me, and I must know what it means. Then the astrologers answered the king in Aramaic, Long live the king. Tell us the dream, and we will tell you what it means. But the king said to the astrologers, I'm serious about this. If you don't tell me what my dream was and what it means, you will be torn limb from limb, and your houses will be turned into heaps of rubble. But if you tell me what I dream and what the dream means, I will give you many wonderful gifts and honors. Just tell me the dream and what it means. And they said again, Please, your majesty, tell us the dream, and we will tell you what it means. The king replied, I know what you're doing. You're stalling for time because you know I am serious when I say if you don't tell me the dream, you're doomed. So you have conspired to tell me lies, hoping I will change my mind. But tell me the dream, and then I know you can tell me what it means. Oh, what wisdom to stop the foolishness of people that want to lie to you, right? Whew. Boy, let's see y'all beat this one. The astrologers replied to the king, No one on earth can tell the king his dream, and no king, however great and powerful, has ever asked such a thing of any magician, enchanter, or astrologer. The king's demand is impossible. No one except the gods can tell you your dream, and they do not live here among people. The king was furious when he heard this, and he ordered that all the wise men of Babylon be executed. Because of the king's decree, men were sent to find and kill Daniel and his friends. When Arioch, the commander of the king's guard, came to kill them, Daniel handled the situation with wisdom and discretion. He asked Arioch, "Why has the king issued such a harsh decree?" So Arioch told him all that had happened. Daniel went at once to see the king and request more time to tell the king what the dream meant. And then Daniel went home and told his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, what had happened. He urged them to ask the God of heaven to show them his mercy by telling them the secret so they would not be executed along with the other wise men of Babylon. That night, the secret was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heaven. He said, "Praise be the name of God forever and ever, for he has all wisdom and power. He controls the course of world events. He removes kings and sets up other kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. He reveals deep and mysterious things and knows what lies hidden in darkness, though he is surrounded by light. I thank you and praise you, God of my ancestors, for you have given me wisdom and strength. You have told me what we asked of you and revealed to us what the king demanded." Shayla, hey girl, hey. Daniel interprets the dream. Then Daniel went in to see Arioch, whom the king had ordered to execute the wise men of Babylon. Daniel said to him, "Don't kill the wise men. Take me to the king, and I will tell him the meaning of his dream." Arioch quickly took Daniel to the king and said, "I have found one of the captives from Judah who would tell the king the meaning of his dream." The king said to Daniel, also known as Belteshazzar, "Is this true? Can you tell me what my dream was and what it means?" Daniel replied, "There are no wise men, enchanters, magicians, or fortune tellers who can reveal the king's secret, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and he has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in the future. Now I will tell you your dream and the visions you saw as you lay upon your bed. While your majesty was sleeping, you dreamed about coming events. He who reveals secrets has shown you what is going to happen. And it is not because I am wiser than anyone else that I know the secret of your dream, but because Yahuwah wants you to understand what was in your heart. In your vision, your majesty, you saw standing before you a huge, shining statue of a man. It was a frightening sight. The head of the statue was made of fine gold. Its chest and arms were silver. Its belly and thighs were bronze. Its legs were iron, and its feet were a combination of iron and baked clay. As you watched, a rock was cut from a mountain, but not by human hands. It was struck by the feet of iron and clay, smashing them to bits. The whole statue was crushed into small pieces of iron, clay, bronze, silver, and gold. Then the wind blew them away without a trace, like chaff on a threshing floor. But the rock that knocked the statue down became a great mountain that covered the whole earth. That was the dream. Now we will tell the king what it means. Your majesty, you are the greatest of kings. The God of heaven has given you sovereignty, power, strength, and honor. He has made you the ruler over all the inhabited world and has put even the wild animals and birds under your control. You are the head of gold. Hold on, this thing jumped all the way up. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. You are the head of gold. But after your kingdom comes to an end, another kingdom inferior to yours will rise to take your place. After that kingdom has fallen, yet a third kingdom, represented by bronze, will rise to rule the world. Following that kingdom, there will be a fourth one, as strong as iron. That kingdom will smash and crush all previous empires, just as iron smashes and crushes everything it strikes. The feet and toes you saw were a combination of iron and baked clay, showing that this kingdom will be divided. Like iron mixed with clay, it will have some strength of iron. But while some parts of it will be as strong as iron, other parts will be as weak as clay. This mixture of iron and clay also shows that these kingdoms will try to strengthen themselves by forming alliances with each other through intermarriage, but they will not hold together, just as iron and clay do not mix. During the reigns of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed or conquered. It will crush all these kingdoms into nothingness, and it will stand forever. That is the meaning of the rock cut from the mountain, though not by human hands, that crushed to pieces the statue of iron, bronze, clay, silver, and gold. The great God was showing the king what will happen in the future. The dream is true, and its meaning is certain. Nebuchadnezzar rewards Daniel, and we know that we are in that fourth kingdom mixed with iron and clay, right? It's the kingdom or the reign or the rulership of Rome all over the earth. Nebuchadnezzar rewards Daniel. Then King Nebuchadnezzar threw himself down before Daniel and worshipped him, and he commanded his people to offer sacrifices and burn sweet incense before him. The king said to Daniel, "Truly, your God is the greatest of gods, the Lord over kings, a revealer of mysteries, for you have been able to reveal this secret." Then the king appointed Daniel to a high position and gave him many valuable gifts. He made Daniel ruler over the whole province of Babylon, as well as chief over all his wise men. At Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be in charge of all the affairs of the province of Babylon, while Daniel remained in the king's court. Next chapter, Daniel chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue. King Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then he sent messengers to the high officers, officials, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the provincial officers to come to the dedication of the statue he had set up. So he get this dream now, he get the big head. Oh, I'm the greatest of all kings. We must let the world know we got to create a statue in my honor, right? He thought it was doing something good. So all these officials came and stood before the statue King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald shouted out, "People of all races and nations and languages, listen to the king's command. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and other musical instruments, bow to the ground to worship King Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue. Anyone who refuses to obey will be immediately thrown into a blazing furnace." So, at the sound of the musical instruments, all the people, whatever their race or nation or language, bowed to the ground and worshiped the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Now, if y'all remember when we were reading through the legends of the Jews give a lot more detail about what was actually going on and where this music came from. It actually came from the statue, right? It was like the statue was animated somehow, right? Nikki, hey girl, hey, peaceful risings. But some of the astrologers went to the king and informed on the Jews. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, "Long live the king. You issued a decree requiring all the people to bow down and worship the gold statue when they hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and other musical instruments." That decree also states that those who refuse to obey must be thrown into a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom you have put in charge of the province of Babylon. They pay no attention to you, your majesty. They refuse to serve your gods and do not worship the gold statue you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar flew into a rage and ordered that Shadrach, Meshach, and the bad Negro be brought in before him. When they were brought in, Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you refuse to serve my gods or worship the gold statue I have set up? I will give you one more chance to bow down and worship the statue I have made when you hear the sound of the musical instruments. But if you refuse, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my power?" Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro replied, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up." The blazing furnace. And I'm going to share when we read this, guys, because it gives a lot of details, and it also gives details on this next portion of the blazing furnace and what actually happened on the inside. It was real good. Nebuchadnezzar was so furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that his face became distorted with rage. He commanded that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then he ordered some of the strongest men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So they tied them up and threw them into the furnace, fully dressed in their pants, turbans, robes, and other garments. And because the king, in his anger, had demanded such a hot fire in the furnace, the flames killed the soldiers as they threw the 3 men in. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, securely tied, fell into the roaring flames. But suddenly, Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, "Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace?" "Your Majesty, yes, we certainly did," they replied. "Look," Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see 4 men unbound walking around in the fire unharmed, and the fourth looks like a god." Then Nebuchadnezzar came as close as he could to the door of the flaming furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, a bad Negro, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here." So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire. Then the high officers, officials, and governors and advisors crowded around them and saw that the fire had not touched them. Not a hair on their heads was singed, and their clothing was not scorched. They didn't even smell of smoke. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him. They defied the king's command and were willing to die rather than serve or worship any God except their own. Therefore, I make this decree. If any people, whatever their race or nation or language, speak a word against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and that bad Negro right there, they will be torn limb from limb, and their houses will be turned into heaps of rubble. There is no other God who can rescue like this." Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. So when we read through Legends of the Jews, it tells us who that fourth person was. While the church teaches you it was JC in there, it wasn't, right? Nebuchadnezzar knew who that fourth person was, right? And like I like this version saying that fourth person looks like a god. They totally removed the term that confuses people, son of God. He looks like one of the sons of God. He was one of the sons of Yah, right? But it was not the son that the church teaches you about, right? It was no other than Gabriel himself. And he met Gabriel when he had this run in, when Nebuchadnezzar had a run in with Sennacherib. So he had seen that fourth person in the flames before, right? Listen, verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him," right? They be playing with y'all with these words, right? Taking out the real names and stuff of people. I'm just saying. Last chapter for today, Daniel chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar's dream about a tree. King Nebuchadnezzar sent this message to the people of every race and nation and language throughout the world. Peace and prosperity to you. I want you all to know about the miraculous signs and wonders the Most High God has performed for me. How great are his signs, how powerful his wonders. His kingdom will last forever, his rule through all generations. I Nebuchadnezzar, was living in my palace comfortably and in prosperity. One night, I had a dream that frightened me. I saw visions that terrified me as I lay in my bed. So I issued an order calling in all the wise men of Babylon so they could tell me what my dream meant. When all the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and fortune tellers came in, I told them the dream, but they could not tell me what it meant. At last, Daniel came in before me, and I told him the dream. He was named Belteshazzar, after my God, and the spirit of the holy gods is in him. I said to him, Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and that no mystery is too great for you to solve. Now tell me what my dream means. While I was laying in my bed, this is what I dreamed. Notice how I began to notice some of these things as I read a little bit more, understand a little bit more about what's really going on here on this earth. Notice I'm gonna just bring out this little small point. Y'all probably paid attention to. Notice how Daniel didn't always clap back at the king, probably because he didn't want to get beheaded, but still, notice how he didn't clap back at the king when he said the spirit of the holy gods is in him, right? Or Daniel, I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and they reveal all truth and things to you, right? Then you could have went back and forth. He's like, well, we worship one God, it's just his spirit alone. He could have did that, but he didn't, right? So as they I don't really know anybody who how can I say this? I think when people read the book of Daniel, they skip past so much. Maybe because they don't really understand some of the thing that was really going on, and they just kind of read it just to tell you a story, right? We'll talk about it soon. We'll talk about it soon. Okay, but notice how Daniel didn't clap back, always going back and forth, like quit saying the holy gods is in me, right? It's one God, right? Okay. I said to him, Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians. He also called him a magician. He could have said, I'm not a magician, I'm a prophet, I'm a servant. He didn't, right? I said to him, Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and that no mystery is too great for you to solve. Now tell me what my dream means. Oh, and the point of me saying all that, why I brought that out, is remember they stay in Babylon, and some of their lingo is different from what the Hebrews language is, right? So if you understand what somebody is trying to say, you don't necessarily have to go back and forth, because your culture talks, we're talking about the same thing here, but your culture says it this way, my culture says it this way. So if you can understand that, you can just let them talk and get through their sentence and just answer the question, because you know what they're trying to say, instead of harping on, wait a minute, you pronounced that wrong, or you said that wrong, or you said this word, you shouldn't be using this word, that's of the devil, all that dumb stuff. Y'all stop it. Well, if you know what somebody is trying to say, just answer the question without going off the deep end about stuff that they not trying to say. While I was laying in my bed, this is what I dreamed. I saw a large tree in the middle of the earth. The tree grew very tall and strong, reaching high into the heavens for all the world to see. It had fresh green leaves, and it was loaded with fruit for all to eat. Wild animals lived in its shade, and birds nested in its branches. All the world was fed from this tree. Then, as I lay there dreaming, I saw a messenger, a holy one, coming down from heaven. The messenger shouted, cut down the tree and lop off its branches, shake off its leaves and scatter its fruit, chase the wild animals from its shade and the birds from its branches, but leave the stump and roots in the ground, bound with a band of iron and bronze and surrounded by tender grass. Hold on. But leave the stump and the roots in the ground, bound with a band of iron and bronze, and surrounded by tender grass. Now let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him live while the wild animals among and let him live with the wild animals among the plants of the field. For 7 periods of time, let him have the mind of a wild animal instead of the mind of a human. For this has been decreed by the messengers. It is commanded by the holy ones, so that everyone may know that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world. He gives them to anyone he chooses, even to the lowliest of people. Belteshazzar, that was a dream that I, King Nebuchadnezzar, had. Now tell me what it means, for none of my wise men of my kingdom can do so, but you can tell me because the spirit of the holy gods is in you. Daniel explains the dream. Shalom, Lisa. Shalom, Uncle JB. Top of the day. Upon hearing this, Daniel, also known as Belteshazzar, was overcome for a time, frightened by the meaning of the dream. Then the king said to him, Belteshazzar, don't be alarmed by what the dream means. Belteshazzar replied, I wish the events foreshadowed in the dream would happen to your enemies, my lord, and not you. The tree you saw was growing very tall and strong, reaching high into the heavens for all the world to see. It had fresh green leaves and was loaded with fruit for all to eat. Wild animals lived in its shade, and birds nested in its branches. That tree, your majesty, is you, for you have grown strong and great. Your greatness reaches up to heaven, and your rule to the ends of the earth. Then you saw a messenger, a holy one, coming down from heaven and saying, cut down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump and the roots in the ground, bound with a band of iron and bronze, and surrounded by tender grass. Let him be drenched with the dew of heaven. Let him live with the wild animals of the field for 7 periods of time. This is what the dream means, Your Majesty, and what the Most High has declared will happen to my Lord the King. You will be driven from human society, and you will live in the fields with the wild animals. You will eat grass like a cow, and you will be drenched with the dew of heaven. 7 periods of time will pass while you live this way until you learn that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses. But the stump and roots of the tree were left in the ground. This means that you will receive your kingdom back again when you have learned that heaven rules. King Nebuchadnezzar, please accept my advice. Stop sinning and do what is right. Break from your wicked past and be merciful to the poor. Perhaps then you will continue to prosper. Let's see if the king took Daniel's advice. Joy, shalom. The dream's fulfillment. But all these things did happen to King Nebuchadnezzar. 12 months later, he was taking a walk on the flat roof of the royal palace in Babylon. As he looked across the city, he said, look at this great city of Babylon. By my own power, I have built this beautiful city as my royal residence to display my majestic splendor. While these words were still in his mouth, a voice called down from heaven, O King Nebuchadnezzar, this message is for you. You are no longer ruler of this kingdom. You will be driven from human society. You will live in the fields with the wild animals, and you will eat grass like a cow. 7 periods of time will pass while you live this way until you learn that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses. That same hour, judgment was fulfilled, and Nebuchadnezzar was driven from human society. He ate grass like a cow, and he was drenched with the dew of heaven. He lived this way until his hair was as long as eagle's feathers, and his nails were like birds' claws. Nebuchadnezzar praises Yah. After this time had passed, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up to heaven. My sanity returned, and I praised and worshiped the Most High and honored the one who lives forever. His rule is everlasting, and his kingdom is eternal. All the people of the earth are nothing compared to him. He does as he pleases among the angels of heaven and among the people of the earth. No one can stop him or say to him, what do you mean by doing these things? When my sanity returned to me, so did my honor and glory and kingdom. My advisors and nobles sought me out, and I was restored as head of my kingdom with even greater honor than before. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and glorify and honor the King of heaven. All his acts are true, and he is able to humble the proud. Woo. King Nebuchadnezzar learned a very, very hard lesson, right? But at least he learned. It took him a while, but at least he learned, which is more than what we can say about some hard-headed regents, right? Okay, y'all. Let's hop on over here to our reading for today. Pick up where we left off on page 355. Down here, the traditions of the fathers. Let's see. What time we at? 30 minutes? Let's see if we get through the rest of this today, y'all. Let's see if we finish. Okay. All right. Traditions of the fathers. The yeast of the Pharisees, rabbinic Judaism. Yahushua was fiercely opposed by men referring to themselves as rabbis, and he spoke of their knowledge. Woe to you, learned in the Torah, because you took away the key of knowledge. You did not enter in yourselves, and those who were entering in, you hindered. Luke chapter 11:52. Rabbis banned the name Yahuwah. The rabbis taught the oral law of the fathers, also referred to as the traditions of the fathers. In that day, it was called Laudamos, Laudasmos, Loudaismos, the religion of the Yahudim. The word rabbi is not found in the Tanakh. This sect is known today by its advocates as Rabbinic Judaism. They were the Pharisees, the separated ones who specified teachings. Some believe Rabbinic Judaism to be the Hebrew roots of the faith. Tradition is not our foundation. The traditions of my fathers, Paul's former way. For you have heard of my former way of life in Yahudism, how intensely I persecuted the body of Yahuwah and ravaged it. I progressed in Yahudaism beyond many of my age in my race, being exceedingly ardent for the traditions of my fathers. And you can find that in Galatians chapter 1, verses 13 through 14. This yoke was not the Torah of Moses, it was the traditions of the fathers. Now we can understand what this means. In Acts chapter 15, verse 10. Now then, why do you try Yahuwah by putting a yoke on the neck of the taught ones, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? Boom. So when you hear this, they're not talking. And a lot of people get this messed up. And it's I didn't heard quite a few people say this, even some of the well-known today standing YouTube channels just Yahuwah, teaching Yahuwah's people who they are and returning them to helping them to return to their roots. They still got this a little chopped and screwed, right? And I like how he pointed this out. I read it again. Acts chapter 15, verse 10. Now then, why do you try Yahuwah by putting a yoke on the neck of the taught ones, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? And so that's also another scripture that they use to say nobody was able to keep to the Torah. But what it was talking about was not the Torah. It was the traditions of men that were happening during those days by those different sects of people and religious folk, right? They were never talking about the actual Torah that was given by Yah to Moses, also referred to as the law of Moses. That is not what they were talking about, but people are mistaken like it was. They said, well, it says, go read here, and you can also you can read that in Romans as well, but it wasn't talking about what we keep to the instructions of Yah. It was talking about this oral law that they had created, and it's called the traditions of men. That's what they were saying. Our fathers weren't even keeping to that. Nobody was keeping to that garbage. All right, Valerie, Yah, shalom. Listen, okay. Let me just read this again. Traditions of my fathers, Paul's formal way. For you have heard, and today it's called the Talmud. They gave it a different name, but it's still the traditions of the fathers, right? And other stuff that they've added to it, all these extra things and oral laws that they're passing down. It has nothing to do. It's a bunch of added garbage, right? And I can say that it's garbage. Open up the trash can and dump it in there, all of it. The traditions of my fathers, Paul's former way. For you have heard of my former way of life in Judaism, how intensely I persecuted the body of Yahuwah and ravaged it. And I progressed in Judaism beyond many of my age in my race, being exceedingly ardent for the traditions of my fathers. Galatians chapter 1, verses 13 through 14. This yoke was not the Torah of Moses. It was the traditions of the fathers. Now we can understand what this means. Acts chapter 15, verse 10. Now then, why do you try Yahuwah by putting a yoke on the neck of the taught ones or the disciples, right, or the followers of Yah, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? We're not able to bear the yoke of the Talmud or the yoke of all these extra things added. None of us are able to bear that. Yah didn't even give us that, right? Our fathers didn't even do that. They only kept to Yah's commands, right? The yoke, or yoke, means teachings or represents teachings. The yoke of the traditions of the fathers was keeping men from calling on the name of Yahuwah. And by their traditions, men were being confused by the wisdom of men, falsely called knowledge. Gnosticism, mystical and allegorical interpretations were influences originating outside the true faith. How is it that you do not understand that I do not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not say to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. You can find that in Matthew chapter 16, verses 11 through 12. Question: what is the leaven or the yeast of the Pharisees? Answer: Rabbinic Judaism, the traditions of the fathers. Guru Glue. An advocate, that's going to be our title today. Guru Glue. An advocate of Hinduism is trained by their guru or yogi or instructor to perform exercises to yoke with life forces, Ki, which are in truth spiritual demonic entities. A bond of trust is formed between the teacher and his disciple. A guru is much like a rabbi guiding the learner. The teacher is referred to as a spiritual master, one who has reached self-realization or fulfillment. Guru and the rabbi are the yoga, meditation, and astral projection performed by the advocate called a yogi. The term yoga means to yoke and is a union with energies or forces. This is the same goal proposed by Kabbalah to connect the forces to maintain fulfillment. The yoga union with the forces proposes to elevate their consciousness to successively higher chakra levels. A serpent force in their spine guides this process. This thinking inspired the guru Yoda in Star Wars. The goal is to achieve realization or perfection. The goal perfectly aligns with Kabbalah to achieve fulfillment. Tantric and Kundalini yoga are the two most popular forms, but all yoga is packaged in a variety of ways for consumption in the Western world. Today, we see Jewish yoga, Torah yoga, holy yoga, Christian yoga, hot yoga, etc. The movie Star Wars promotes these concepts in plain sight. Awareness through 4 levels. Interpretation of the Eastern text is guided by tantric gurus who control their students with vows of various kinds and reinforce their control with physical and psychological exercises. Their sacred texts include the Vedas, I know how to say that word, Bhagavad Gita. I heard it before. Bhagavad Gita, I think the B is silent. Bhagavad Gita and Sruti, Sruti. In these sources, we discover Aja, the absolute or unborn eternal consciousness. The self-realized guru teaches there are 4 levels of awareness or truth. When we consider all these elements together, they point to an early interchange between Eastern Gnosticism and its influences on Rabbinic Judaism, the sect known as the Pharisees, and they are tossed about by every wind of teaching. Hinduism has many mystical rabbit trails, and many were also absorbed into Catholicism. Uh-oh. Facebook went out. Say it's trying to reconnect. Maybe it'll reconnect. I didn't do anything. Okay, it's back. Oh, wait. Did I stop over here on YouTube too? Hey, y'all messing with the Wi-Fi? No. Can y'all still see me? I still see the time running. It's in my connection. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Did YouTube go out, y'all? Can y'all still see me? Did it go out? Did I go completely out? Maybe I did. Nobody said anything yet. Maybe they can't see anything. I think we stopped. Anybody? Hold on. I know the time is running, but it says wait while we're reconnecting. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Good. I'm good here. Okay. Did I freeze y'all? Still there? Okay. Sis, you okay? Hold on. Okay. My mama watching from YouTube. She said we still good. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep reading. You are completely out, but you're back. Oh, I was out, but I came back. Okay. Yeah, I'm plugged in good. I didn't do anything. Oh, okay. You were spinning. Okay. Yeah, I got this message that it was trying to reconnect. Oh, now all the messages coming in. Okay. I'm good. Okay. All right. Well, let me get back to where I was at. Okay. Hold on. Rabbit trails. Okay. Hinduism has many mystical rabbit trails, Mom, and many were also absorbed. I did. Many. This is yours? Yes, you can have it. It's unsweetened though. It's unsweetened black tea. I cannot open it. You might not like it. It's not sweet at all. Okay. There you go. All right. Hinduism has many mystical rabbit trails, and many were also absorbed into Catholicism, i.e., beads, rosaries, ashes, statues, steeples, stupas, holy water like the Ganges, the gold tabernacle, and even the way the folded hands are held in the palm to palm or namaste form. All stem from Hinduism. Oh, y'all. I learned something about the hands. The hand gesture means the spirit in me bows to the spirit in you. Yahusha instructed us to build upon the rock, a firm foundation. We see the highest knowledge we can attain is his name and his word. I bow myself toward your set apart call and give thanks to your name for your kindness and for your truth, for you have made great your word, your name above all. Psalm chapter 138, verse 2. Let me share this with y'all. Now, you may understand if you've been in church, right? But remember how I said some people may know, some people may not know, right? Okay. So remember how a while ago I told y'all, like when some preachers or prophets come to churches to prophesy, that they're not necessarily all the time hearing from y'all. They can actually hear from other voices, right? But also, some of them come into the church unbeknownst to the unsuspecting sheep and parishioners that they are performing magic, right? There are some pastors and teachers and who actually practice they practice a form of magic. And it's the same type of magic that um the psychics the psychics practice, right? They'll never tell you that. But I began to pick up on some things a few years before I left the church, right? Now we know that you can lay hands on people and pray for them and heal them, right? But if you begin to learn about the body, the physical body, the pressure points, the different centers in the body and everything, and you will learn that this, and I thought about this when it talked about this right here, right? You'll learn about different I guess a word you can use is like eyes, right? Like eyes. Just like they say you got a third eye, but it's not necessarily like an eye. They just call it a third eye because it's like the seat of the soul, where if your body is clean and stuff, your spiritual insight will be higher, right? And you can see things. So that's why they refer to them as eyes, right? So technically, we're gonna stick with the word eyes because they actually cause you to see unseen things, right? So that if you learn about the body, you'll realize you have like 9 eyes, right? Not just these two, but you can actually perceive things with your body, right? You know how you can touch somebody and you can feel. Sometimes you can just feel, not everybody, but some people have the ability to feel the energy of other people. All they have to do is touch them, is because your hands also have those let's just say they have eyes. So I'll point them out to you. So the 9 eyes are your 2 feet, your 2 knees, your two hands, your 2 eyes, and hold on, I think I missed one. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I did it right. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, those right there. So also, and you kind of see it and move it. Now that as I started learning some of this and learning about the body and pressure points and different things and how you can affect the body and just kind of it opens spirit. It's weird how it happens. I'm trying to explain it the best way I know how. But when you're more sensitive and your body is clean, it's like you begin to you're able to sense things because you become more sensitive to your surroundings around you. And you can literally, I'm not sure if some of you can literally go touch somebody and feel what's going on with them. Now that right there in church, I've seen this happen. Now people, and when I didn't fully understand it then, but I knew something was happening. But and some of the people's kind of suspect to me anyway, because you know how you just get, I don't care if you sit in church, but you just get like these certain vibes about certain people. Now I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I knew something wasn't right. But when I started feeling that, I refused to let people lay their hands on my children. Like, you ain't putting your hands on me, and you ain't putting your hands on my children either, right? I don't care if you are praying for them. You pray for them. You pray from them afar, but don't you dare touch them, right? And I remember one time, look, I remember when I was learning about this, I was going to this one church, and the pastor was praying for the children and stuff. And I'm like, yep, I don't want my child touched. Nope, you're not going up there for that prayer. So when you take your hand, for those ones who are, for those teachers and pastors who know what they're doing, right? Who know what they're doing, not necessarily they're tapped into the spirit of Yah, but if they're practicing magic, and a lot of times you will be really fooled and you would think what they're doing is from Yah if you don't understand what's going on. You have to be able to decipher between the two. Just like when I talked about before the other day, like if you take the sacrifices, the animal sacrifices and stuff, and you take them out of there and you set them aside the other nations who was also doing these animal sacrifices, you would not be able to tell the difference, right? They're doing the same exact thing, same thing in the church. if you walk into a church and you were unaware of magic that some of the pastors and teachers actually practice, you would be fooled and you would think it was Yah and they were hearing from Yah. But a lot of times they're not, and it's ever so subtle, right? And so that's why years ago I'm like, yeah, no, ain't nobody laying their hands on my children. My husband and I, we will lay our hands on our own children and pray for them, but you're not touching them, right? Because what happens is the pressure points in your hand. All right, might be the pressure points on your hand, and you will notice it. People, when they pray for you, they have a habit of coming. Sometimes they'll lay their hands on your shoulder, but a lot of time you'll notice they'll take their hand and they'll put it right there on your forehead. So they're taking their eye, they're one of their eyes, and they're laying it on one of your eyes, which is the seat of the soul, intuition. And if you are a highly sensitive person to the spirit, you will actually be able to pick up things about this person's life. And when I realized, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, oh, they're practicing magic in the church. Oh my gosh, that wasn't y'all. Because sometimes people will tell you things about your life, or they say that y'all revealed things about your life. I'm like, okay, well, if y'all reveal something, there's uh, a purpose why this particular thing was revealed, because Yahuwah just don't reveal things willy-nilly, right? It's because he want to get to the bottom of something, or he wants to heal something, but not just to you expose you for exposure's sake, and if he does expose, if he is ready to expose you for something, it's because you haven't been listening. But in his exposing, he wants to get your attention because he wants to deal with this, right? So that's why you should never let anybody take their hands, especially if you, probably none of y'all is going to church now still, but if you do, if you see this happening, stop and just pay attention to what's really going on. People, I'm telling you, you really have to pay attention. And I'm just like, ooh, this is crazy. But they'll take their eye, one of their hands, and they're laid on your forehead, or they say, give me your hands. Palm readers, right? That's why they take your hand. They take your hands and put them in their hands, and they'll hold them, or they'll look at them, or reading the palms, is because these are considered eyes. And you can tell, like, you can really tell a lot about people if, like I said, if you are sensitive, right? If you are sensitive, it's easy. The energy is easy to pick up. And I don't know how it happens, y'all. It ain't like some people, it just happened. Like when I started learning about it, I was like, oh shoot, because some things just kind of like naturally happen. It just kind of came normal. I'm like, okay, what I didn't realize is because I was so sensitive and I was able to pick up things about other people. Not that I was seeking to, but it would just happen. Or if like something is happening with one of my children, I'm like, come here, I just put my hand on them. What's going on? And I can tell, I can literally feel if they're lying, although sometimes they give themselves away through behavior actions, and I can tell if they're lying. I'll be able to sense what it is. It's I'm not going to say it's weird, but it's weird how it happens, guys. I'm just saying, I'm just learning some of this stuff, and I know some people, y'all may know a little bit more, but now it's all starting to make sense. Yes, so the same thing can happen, yes, when you hold hands and pray, right? I ain't saying nothing wrong with holding hands and praying. You can, because you can come into agreement, right? But you have to be careful who you link up with, right? And when you begin to notice some of these things, you won't be so quick to let me pray for you, brother, or people going through here laying hands on people's forehead and praying them and slaying them in the spirit, like all this craziness. Y'all better stop this. Not y'all, but just in case somebody who's doing this or sitting in the place that's doing this, y'all better stop it. Y'all gonna get yourselves in some trouble, right? And not only that, people can eavesdrop into your life by doing this and take some of the information that they're learning about you. And if they're wicked and if they're lascivious, they can take some of this stuff, even the because men pastors do it to women. This is how they are able to subdue silly women laden down with sins and have them in their bed, y'all. Stop this. Stop it. Don't let nobody touch your bodies. Don't let them lay their hands on you and pray. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy and it's so scary, y'all. So, and when they tell, listen, look, another thing. when they tell you to bow your heads, but I'm gonna tell all this stuff is starting to link up and make sense of you. And I began to realize why certain religions, although they may be worshiping other gods, they understand some things. And certain religions, they will not let you touch their hands. And when they pray, they don't close their eyes, because by doing this and this, not only are you closing your physical eyes, but you're also closing natural sensors around you, which is why the church is furthermore dumbed down, because they teach you to close your eyes and pray. But when you look in scripture, it say, keep your freaking eyes open and watch and pray. Like the scriptures say something totally different from what people are saying out of their mouths to you, which is another reason why Christians are so, it's like they're gone. They can't see, and they literally can't see, because their stance, we're gonna bow our heads, close our eyes, we're gonna close two sets of eyes and pray, right? No, I'm keeping these eyes open, which is why some faiths, when they pray, they keep their eyes open and they hold their hands up open, or they hold them like this, right? Because and some may not understand it. It could have just been passed down to where they do it that way, but some of them understand it and they keep their eyes open. They keep these eyes open and they keep these set of eyes open. They don't let people touch them. Like seriously, people can literally pollute you when they touch you, right? Energy can be transferred from body to body. And I know some of the things he's saying here, but some of these things I have experienced on accident, and I know that it's true. I'm like, wait a minute, something ain't right, right? So I'm just saying that's why I wanted to share with you about the hands when he did the palm to palm namaste, right? I'm telling y'all that I'm just saying. I be learning more and more every day, and every time I learn something, I look through each religion to see if there's truth found in there, and how because I was raised in a religion of Christianity in a church, so I know a lot of this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is they're totally merging a bunch of garbage together, making it seem that it's Yah or one God when it's really not, and you're practicing magic, right? A form of deceptive magic, right? I'm just saying. Everybody really should know this, right? And if everybody really knew this, you wouldn't really need to go seeking people out to pray for you, right? You can literally go to the Father yourself, right? And you can teach your children the right way and teach them, don't go searching for a word and all this kind of craziness that get people in trouble and get them more crazy. Yeah, Valerie said, I have to stop coworkers and strangers from touching me. I'm telling you, yeah, you have got to be careful. Yo, Outlook. Oh, I don't know if y'all watch this series. It might be a bit much for some people, but there's a series. I know you can watch it on Amazon, but it's called American Gods. I know they played it on TV, but it's on Amazon. And I don't think it's on Netflix. I think I watched it on Amazon. But there's a lot of truth in that. Clearly they put truth in movies and stuff, but American Gods has a lot of truth in it, right? Yo, it will blow your mind. That may not be for everybody, because not only do they have all the different types of gods walking the earth here, they literally in there. So that may not be good. If you got an issue with if you got an issue with porn, don't go watch American Gods. I mean, it's not full of that, but one particular one, two, three particular gods in there are of the sexual nature, and they're when it gets to their portions, it's really graphic. I had to kind of fast forward through some. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it does make a lot of things make sense, and you can actually kind of see, so if you're aware of some of the principles and some of the things happening with people, especially some people who may be addicted to some of these type of behaviors, it makes some things make sense. I'm like, oh my goodness. So Hollywood, a lot of times they do a really good job of putting things in movies that it will seem to be entertainment, but it's truths nonetheless, right? So I'm just saying. So be careful, y'all. All right, but it's a whole lot of truth in there. Okay, so let me see. Where we at? We have 59 minutes. Let me just reread this little last paragraph that I just read. And I actually put the little marker like I was going to stop and I think we're going to stop here anyway. I put it there. Okay. So the last paragraph that I read, we'll go back over the hand thing, right? It says Hinduism has many mystical rabbit trails, and many are also absorbed into Catholicism, i.e., beads, rosaries, ashes, statues, steeples, holy water like the Ganges or the Ganges River, the Gohozen, Gold Tabernacle, and even the way the folded hands are held in the palm to palm namaste form, which is this, all stem from Hinduism. This hand gesture means the spirit in me bows to the spirit in you. That ain't really what it means. But I get what he's saying with this, with the namaste. That's what they say that means. But I'm telling you, it's closing you so you don't see what's going on around you. Everybody bow your heads and pray. Right? Put your hands together. Everybody put your hands together. When they say close your eyes, put your hands together. They're telling you to close your eyes so you can't perceive the dumbness that they about to do to you. I'm like, here, no. And I'm telling you, guys, I ain't close. When I was still going to church, I ain't closed my eyes for so long. I'm just like, you know what? These people, you go in here and funk them all upside the head. Yo, okay. It was something else I was about to say. It just, hold on. I remember something I was going to say. Hold on. It was something in regards to the hands. Oh, yeah, the hands also. And I think it's a picture in here. And I know he said it was from Catholicism, but y'all ever seen that? Hold on. It's in here. But even this that they had, and I thought about it the other day. I'm like, oh, that's that sign. Although, yeah, they used that in one of their religions, but this is what it meant. They was trying to tell you there are literally sensors in your hands where you can perceive, like when you not just like physically, but literally spiritually. Like I said, there's like an inward awareness. That's why y'all, that's that hand. I want to say it's Catholicism, but it's a hand, and they put like an eye right there in the hand. That's what it was representing, let you know that they are saying that, and that is true. Hold on, let me see. I know it's a picture in here. It's one of the. I think it's Catholicism. Hold on. Wait. No, I know I seen it in here. I think I seen it in here. If y'all got the book and y'all come to it, y'all got the page number. Hold on. Wait. Talking about the Hamsa. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I think Hindu. Maybe it might be Hindu. I don't know, y'all. See, I'm still learning about this, but everything is like clicking together. I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute." So that's what that meant. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. It could be Hindu. Maybe it is Hindu. Hold on. It's multicultural. I don't know, Julie. I don't know. I'm still learning. Hold on. I know it's a picture in here, y'all. Hold on. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? The hand with the eye. Well, maybe I didn't see it in here. Maybe it's not one in here. But I could have sworn he just showed every kind of hand signal and thing from all these different religions. I know this in here. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If not, I'm gonna get a link to a picture of one so y'all can see, just in case y'all don't. And I'll post it on Facebook and in the comment section of YouTube. Just click on it. I'll be like, this is the eye that I was trying to find a picture of. This is what it was talking about. I guess it's not in here. Maybe I'm just flipping my pages too fast and I don't see it. No, it's a bunch of. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look up that word joy. Is it Hamsa? 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 Okay, Hamsa. Okay, I'm gonna look up Hamsa. Hamsa. Okay. So yeah, that's probably y'all know what I'm talking about. I just gotta type in Hamsa, and look at the picture. So I don't know the name of it. Okay, but yeah, I just know what it looked like because, like I said, I'm still learning, putting all this stuff together. I'm like, oh snap! So it's really kind of interesting to know, and it's baffling, and it's downright appalling to know that some people that you trusted while you were in the church, that they were actually practicing magic on you or on us, right? And now that you know, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, you know what? We so ignorant. We so ignorant. Oh my gosh, right? And a lot of people is being taken by this because people take that stuff and they use it to get the upper hand on people, and just it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. So, but anyway, that's it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the reading. But I'm gonna post that. Thank you, y'all, for sharing that with me so I can look it up. And I post a picture just in case somebody don't know what it is. You can just click on the link and look it up. You can just go look up hamster yourself and it'll show it. Okay. All right, y'all. So it is Tuesday, August the 24th, 2021, day 241 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 910. Did I say that at the beginning, not day 910? Did I say it wrong? Because I didn't even finish writing it out right there. I half wrote it. I missed the number. A digit, rather. Okay, it's day 910. We read Daniel chapter 2, 3, and 4, and we read Fossilized Customs, page 355 to page 357. All right, y'all. So we can go ahead and do this blessing and get out of here for today. I know people got to get to work. I got to start getting stuff done. All right, y'all. All right. The blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, starting at verse 22, ending at verse 27. And remember, the first 21 verses is a Nazirite vow. Man or woman can take it. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. That is it for today. Thanks for hanging out. And now I'll share that. Also, I'll share the link to the video. I gotta find it. It's all the way back at the beginning of the year when we were reading through when it gives the part. Actually, I think the title, I think I got Fiery Furnace in the title. Yeah, I think Fiery Furnace is in the title. I'm going to share that just in case you weren't here for that. And you can go see the portion about what Legends of the Jews said when they were thrown into the fire furnace and how he recognized that it was Gabriel in there, right? And not JC. It was pretty good. It's really good. All right, y'all. That's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.